Picture this. It's the 17th of September back in 2013. It feels like the longest day at school, and all you can think about is running out the classroom door as soon as that bell rings to grab your copy of the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 5. Ah yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. There was not a chance in hell Mum would let me get this game. But when you want something bad enough, you always find a way. I asked our international exchange student who was living with us at the time if he could come with me so I could buy the game. Now bear in mind, I was 12 at the time, so there was no chance of trying to pass as an adult and not get ID'd. He was more than happy to accompany me to EB Games, which is New Zealand's equivalent of GameStop, so I could get my hands on what I had been patiently waiting on for so long. I walked out of EB Games with the biggest smile on my face, even though I had just spent about 90% of the money I had in my bank account in one purchase. Tell you what, that $5 I got each time for mowing the lawns, it was all worth it. But it wasn't over yet. I had to make it home without Mum seeing the game in my hand. It would be bad enough if I got in trouble, but I did not want the innocent homestay getting caught for being my accomplice. So I hid the game underneath my hoodie I was wearing and thought surely she wouldn't notice. The GTA gods were definitely looking out for me that day because Mum wasn't even home. You beauty. It was finally time to play the most anticipated game in the world. After the 1 hour disc installation, of course. If you're watching this right now and are of a similar age to me, chances are GTA 5 is the game you grew up on. I was literally 12 when I got this game. Now I'm 24. Gosh, that's scary. To be fair, I think anyone that bought this game when it first came out will be able to relate to a lot of what I'm about to say. This game, man. This is the game where boys became men. The game would pull a sickie to stay home from school and play the latest DLC on. The game that ruined our sleep schedules. The game that stopped us going outside and socializing in real life. The game that stopped us being able to talk to girls. I don't know about you, but I have no regrets. With GTA 6's upcoming release and the anticipation leading up to this, I thought it would only be appropriate for us to take a walk down memory lane together and relive some of the greatest memories we've had of this game. So without further ado, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and let's relive these awesome moments from GTA 5. This video is going to be split into 4 parts made up of my, and hopefully yours as well, fondest memories of GTA 5 over the different console generations. So first we've got the old gen, which is referring to the PS3 and Xbox 360. Then old gen, referring to the PS4 and Xbox One. And then current gen, referring to the PS5 and Xbox Series. And then finally, life currently, almost 12 years later. Let's get into it. It's only fitting we start with GTA 5's initial release on the old gen consoles. To say GTA 5's initial release took the world by storm would be a massive understatement. It broke 7 world records, which is crazy, one of which being best-selling video game in 24 hours at 11.21 million units sold. And this was only one of the many records. Even before its release, there was so much hype around this game when it was announced. We were all just in awe of the gameplay, screenshots and trailers. Back when GTA 5 first came out, these were the days when physical game purchases were the norm, and everyone lined up at the game store to patiently wait. Just imagine a whole community of equally excited fans ready to get their hands on this game. This is where you'd make new friends that I'm sure a lot of you are still good friends with today. This is the kind of experience that makes gaming so special. Being able to bond with like-minded people over the games you love to play. Now, I didn't pre-order GTA 5, so sadly I missed out on this opportunity. But don't get me wrong, I made a lot of friends from this game that are still my friends to this day.
Stop the cap.
Picking up from where I left off before, installing the game on old gen was a core memory, but not completely for the right reasons. Like, this game took way too long to install. But I was happy to wait. Each time another picture of the loading screen was shown, I was just as amazed and excited as the previous 50 times it was shown on the screen. There was one in particular that piqued my interest more so than the other ones. Although I remember being so paranoid hoping Mum would not walk in the room when this one showed. GTA 5 had 2 discs for the Xbox 360, a disc to install the game to the Xbox and a disc to play the game. Meanwhile, the PS3 only needed the 1 disc thanks to its Blu-ray support, which allows for more storage. Now check this out for perspective, right? The game was considered so big that yes, it needed 2 discs for the Xbox 360, but it was 8 gigs. What a joke. Back then, some people had Xbox 360s that only had 4 gigabytes of internal storage, so they couldn't even play the game. At the time, this game was really pushing the boundaries of these consoles, and it was seriously impressive how much detail this game had to it. With GTA Online's release just 2 weeks after the game had come out, this gave us players a good chunk of time to complete the GTA 5 story. Not that we actually needed that much time, right? Even with school taking up most of a day, it was straight onto the game as soon as we'd come home from school. I mean, for me though, that's only when mum wasn't home, so then again, 2 weeks was probably needed actually. It really is true what they say about Rockstar's ability to tell a good story with their games.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
The approach that Rockstar took with making these three weirdos combined into the story was super engaging. Each character had their own standout personalities.
The fuck is he doing? Fucking stoner prick! RV asshole!
I feel like I'm channeling bullshit right now.
Beauty, cause you two are going tandem. I didn't bring my idiot translator. What the fuck are you talking about?
You know what, Mike? You're a real easy dude to identify with, man. Poor me. Poor me. Man, pour me a drink, nigga.
It's cold up here. My cock's an ice pop. Ice cock. Pop cock. Fuck! Fucking shit! Cunt! 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 Who the fuck are you speaking to?
Hey, you seen Ashley? Johnny's looking for her.
Well, you know, as a matter of fact, I just did, just 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw her on the end of this penis here.
Johnny ain't gonna be cool if you messing with her again.
Oh, really? Well, you don't think so, huh? Well, why don't we just ask him then, huh? Hey, cowboy, you mind that I fucked your old lady? Sorry, what was that? Well, no, you don't mind? Oh, because you're a dead man? And the only sentient part you left is this little bit of brain and the gristle on the end of my boot? Well, thank you very much, cowboy.
We are women, we are free.
Shut the fuck up! Thank you. Oh, my N-word, huh? What's up, homie, huh? Oh. Oh.
Each character having their own unique abilities really added to the single player experience. Franklin being able to defy the laws of physics and have perfect handling of vehicles as well as creating his own gravitational pull all at the same time was definitely overpowered. Michael being able to aim and shoot in slow motion was pretty helpful, but probably the weakest of all three abilities across the characters in my opinion. Then there was Trevor, who had the ability to pretty much be invulnerable whilst having buff damage against enemies.
Is this the best the US military has to offer?
Probably the most fitting when compared with the other two characters' abilities. Now, being able to switch between characters both in just the general world as well as during missions was such a fun way to play. It gave us more choice to play how we wanted. If you wanted to get absolutely shit-faced with the boys, you could. Now, Rockstar did have DLC planned for story mode, but that fell through when they realised how well GTA Online was doing. They just went full force on that. There were some pre-order bonuses for story mode, such as the ability to call in and fly the blimp, which back then was pretty cool. Not that I'd know, of course, being that I wasn't prestigious enough to get the pre-ordered edition. Also, Rockstar Games included some pretty cool physical items as part of the collector's edition. And this isn't something new that they've done. Like, I remember in GTA 4, one of the bonuses was like a little safe you could have your games in, and then they also had a couple books on like how they made GTA 4. I've still got that, it's quite cool. The GTA 5 map was a very open and somewhat underutilized world, but I loved the aesthetic of it as well as exploring the countryside. And with that, of course, came the silly antics, like trying to climb up Mount Chilliad using the dumbest vehicles you could think of. Another core memory of GTA 5 story mode has got to be the cheats.
Boom.
They were so much fun to experiment with. My personal favourites would have to be the moon gravity cheat. Man, this was fun. And then the Skyfall cheat, as well as that, the invincibility cheat. These were probably my top three. Some of the best ways to enjoy the cheats in this game is just when you'd combine multiple cheats together, and you'd just witness some of the most unhinged moments. I'd always find myself trying to Skyfall and land on the blimp, but it was always so hard. It made for a good challenge to do though when you wanted a break from the story. One thing I really liked about the GTA 5 story was just you could kind of dictate how it would go, especially with a lot of the heists that you'd do. There was always more than one approach to take. and it offered a lot of replayability to the game as well. Not only that, but the fact that in story mode you could also almost seamlessly switch between these characters made it just really cool. I thought this was amazing at the time. You know, if you're doing a mission where, for example, Michael's about to die, he's at that bloody slaughterhouse or whatever, Franklin comes along to save him, there's quite a few times where you're switching between the two characters. And to me, this just makes the story feel a little bit more special because, like I said, we haven't really had this in previous GTA entries. So it gave GTA 5's story a bit more of a point of difference. Overall, I really do like the story for GTA 5. I've replayed it twice because I played it every time I got the latest Xbox, and there's so much detail to it as well, especially with all the side stuff you can do, all the collectibles, strangers and freaks, and plenty of Easter eggs in traditional Rockstar fashion. Even some of that extra stuff like when they introduced the iFruit app. As much as it flopped, it was still a really cool concept, as you could earn even more stuff for your GTA 5 story progress. Okay, story mode was cool and all, and I know I haven't even come close to highlighting all the memorable bits of story mode. Oh, look at him zoom, bro. Okay, we have to replay that. But for me at least, the real memories come from GTA Online. On the 1st of October 2013, GTA Online went live. Boy oh boy was it a mess. Rockstar definitely wasn't ready for the amount of people logging in to play online day one. They scrambled to buy and add more servers ASAP just to try and fix the connection issues a lot of people were having, just from the sheer overload of players. It's hard to remember much back then, but I don't think I had it too bad being in New Zealand and all. After completing the tutorial, I found a random bike off the street, the Akuma. She rode like a dream, that bike. I forked out the little money I had and purchased a tracker and insurance for this absolute weapon. She was my first official vehicle I owned online. Man, it was fun to hoon around on this thing. These were the days, man. The days where you'd call up the mechanic to deliver your vehicle and he'd actually physically come to you and drop the vehicle off. Now back then it was quite hard to make money in the early days of GTA Online. Kids these days just don't know the struggle. You see, back in my day, we had to rob convenience stores for our money. You young whippersnappers just go around selling your bunkers in your nightclubs thinking you've got it hard? Give me a break. Robbing convenience stores was a simple, straightforward method of making a bit of money. Emphasis on a bit. You'd grab a mate, and the objective is to hit every convenience store in the map without dying. There were some unique elements added to this money-making method as well. Raising your voice in game chat would hurry up the clerk handing over the money. And if your gun had no ammo, the clerk would fight back. A bit of a challenge with a decent cash reward and even an in-game achievement for hitting all stores, but only the real OGs know the grind. It really was hard to make money back then. With the delayed heist mode, we were basically running back-to-back jobs of either Rooftop Rumble, Coveted, or Titan of a Job. Now, Rooftop Rumble was the goated mission, I don't care what anyone says. That was honest work doing those missions. Now I will say, there is a slight chance I may have partaken in the odd money glitch here and there. Yeah, that's a massive understatement, Bobby. Good job. I'll never forget the very first money glitch I did in GTA Online. It must have been the first day or two of playing online. I had made a new friend through doing some GTA races. By the way, this comes back to the money glitches, so just hear me out here. In the first race we did, he wasn't yet my friend. I went to take him out for first place. Classic pit maneuver. Again, the things you do to get money in this game. After taking him out, he hit me with a, "You're a bad sport, aren't ya?" I think that was probably the worst British accent ever. Who knows what I said back, but somehow we became friends. My very first friend in GTA Online. Mr. Solo Dolo, I miss you, mate. I hope you're doing well out there. This man was a true friend. He introduced me to my very first money glitch. The first money glitch in GTA Online was the easiest thing in the world. Go to Los Santos Customs with the most high-end vehicle you own, sell it, quickly go to the Rockstar game store, exit out of the store, boom, you keep the car and the money it sold for. Literally as easy as that. Now at the time I didn't really have the money to own a decent car that would actually make me anything significant.
You're broke! You're fucking poor!
So, Mr. Solo Dolo, being the good friend that he was, duplicated his Dominator for me, which at the time was his best car, and I hadn't even unlocked any upgrades, so all of the top upgrades that he put on were shown as locked, even though they were already on there. I still got to sell the car with the locked upgrades on there, which gave me some decent money. This was the start of many more glitches to come. As each money glitch got patched, a new one would come out, which was a little bit more difficult each time. It got to the point where you needed to have precision timing to the millisecond to complete for some glitches. So in some ways you could say it's still honest work. Now, although it was hard to make legitimate money in GTA 5 Online, Rockstar did give us a bit of help. If you became a member of the Rockstar Games Social Club, you got a free LG RH8 and a free pump shotgun. Now back then, that was a pretty good incentive. This is still a thing now, but obviously it doesn't really provide much of a leg up as it did back then. On top of that, the social club allowed you to create and join different crews online. This is when we discovered how to get modded emblems for crews, as well as how to get modded crew colors for your vehicles. And man, these looked sick. This really brought a sense of community to the game, and it made it easy to make new friends online. Some of my fondest memories in GTA Online's early days of release also included playing the Rockstar jobs like Down the Drain. That was such a fun race, especially when playing it in a big lobby, which you could find quite easily back then. And when the race type was set to GTA race, you know you're in for a good time. You'd hit some crazy long shots with the rocket pickups. I played that race back to back for like a whole month and still enjoyed it, probably almost as much as I did the first time I played it. Other game modes like survival were always a good challenge. I'd always load up the Boneyard survival mode and take cover behind this small building the whole 10 rounds. Even this was quite hard playing against NPCs. On the 19th of November 2013, we saw the Beach Bum DLC, the first DLC to ever come to GTA Online. What content was added, you may ask? A beach buggy, some off-road truck, a boat, a van, 2 new weapons, and of course some of the minor appearance stuff like clothes and all of that. Now, compared to the DLCs we've had in more recent years, this doesn't sound like much, but back then this was massive. Everyone was driving around their new BF Bifters on the beach showing off their unique paint jobs. Now, it would definitely be an understatement to say Rockstar have milked the absolute hell out of GTA Online's success potential. In fact, up until the very end of 2024, there have been 46 DLCs added to GTA Online. That's nuts. Wait, Bobby mate, you're getting sidetracked. We're still meant to be talking about 2013, you mad dog. Yeah, righto mate, fair enough. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to go through every DLC released for GTA Online. More just for big stuff that left us with more of those memorable times in GTA Online. And in keeping with that theme, the Content Creator update came out on the 10th of December 2013. Now, at the time, this was huge.
It's huge!
Giving players the ability to create their own jobs was massive and a very smart move by Rockstar. It meant that players could grow the game for them indefinitely into the future. Like, remember how popular some of those jobs were on YouTube? We had game modes like RPGs versus Insurgents, Snipers vs Stunters,
in midair!
parkour races, and so much more. These game modes were so much fun, and honestly, they're still quite popular to this day. Like, how many TikToks have you seen with one of those downhill GTA races? This was all possible because of this update, as well as some other ones, like the Last Team Standing and Cunning Stunts DLCs, but we'll get into that soon. I remember joining the IGN crew as it was the biggest crew on GTA 5. I did this just so I could play races and death matches with a full lobby of 16 people. Just invite your crew members and bam, in a minute you've got a whole lobby. Man, those were the days. Now no one plays death matches, but I tell you what, they were actually pretty good in the early days. One of my favourite death matches was in the maze. My friends and I would play Michael Myers with our HUDs off, and it would always get the adrenaline going. Before the end of 2013, Rockstar left us with one last surprise for GTA Online. The Holiday Gifts update, which was released on the 24th of December in 2013. The highlight for me in this update was simply just driving around in the snow. And there was also new clothing items as well, which was pretty cool. I remember how technically demanding the snowfall was on the old gen consoles. I'd go to Fort Zancudo to steal a laser, as you do. Again, these young folk don't know how hard it was back in the day. You'd have to break into the base every time just to get a jet. However, when it was snowing, I found it was actually a lot easier to steal a jet because the snow really seemed to be pushing the hardware back then, to the point where not many enemies would actually spawn in the military base. So it actually made it pretty easy. 2014 was a pretty cool year for GTA 5 Online. The GTA content on YouTube was taking off like crazy. And with that came some awesome memories that I will never forget. The flying bike glitch.
Right underneath me, just keep going, just keep going. Keep going, hello!
How are you going so much faster?
Here I come! Oh god!
By the way, Rockstar tried to patch this, but I found out how you can still do it in free mode to this day. Now Vanos and the crew finding dumb stuff to do on this game was the best thing ever. There was always a new glitch to do that made for some really funny moments, and I'd always try them out with my mates after watching it on YouTube. Now as a 12-year-old, my Riz levels were in the negative to say the least, but it didn't matter because on Valentine's Day in 2014, I still got some action. Oh yes, in fact I was going at it for hours. On the Valentine's Day update, of course. Who needs girls when you have this fine looking lassie, the Albany Roosevelt? But nah, for real, this update is nostalgic as hell for me. Being able to have your partners in crime standing on the side of this car, causing absolute mayhem with the Guns and Berg sweeper in hand, this was alpha. Now at the time, there weren't many supercars in GTA Online. There was of course the Truffade Adder, which is based off the Bugatti in real life, and if you had this, you were the most prestigious in the lobby. As well as the sexy looking Entity XF, which is based off the Koenigsegg CCX. This was probably my favourite car at the time. And then there was the Vaca, and not gonna lie, the Vaca was the poos of the three in my opinion. To be fair, I can't really remember any other remarkable supercars at this time. This didn't last long though, as on the 4th of March 2014, the Grotti Turismo R was added to GTA Online. This was part of the business update. I honestly love the look of this car, and I still have it sitting in my first apartment garage. The overall look of this car is just gorgeous. Not only that, but just 2 months later, the Pegassi Zentorno dropped with a High Life update. I think this car, even to this day, is one of the nicest looking cars there is in GTA Online. The paint jobs you can come up with on this car are just so aesthetically pleasing. This was also the best vehicle to use at the time for snipers vs stunters because the back part of the vehicle is actually bulletproof. Back then, this was a go-to choice for racing, super fast, and nowadays you probably wouldn't see it in a race at all. Moving on to the 1st of July in 2014, we were introduced to the Independence Day special update, and nothing screams America like this absolute weapon of a thing, as well as the ability to get a bear hat. We also received the firework launcher and some other stuff, but I didn't really care too much about that. My eyes were set on the Liberator as well as the bear hat. The only issue was, I think there were only a few days to actually purchase the Liberator before it was removed from the in-game store. Either because I was only allowed to play on the Xbox for a brief time within this period, or because it was only available to purchase for a couple days. One of the two. Okay, I remember what it was. So it was actually school holidays at the time, and I bought my Xbox with me while I went on holiday. Now, I wasn't able to play as much as I would have liked to, because obviously I was on holiday, but I did what I could to try grind out the missions and get the Liberator before it went away. Now, off memory, I think it was like 750 grand or something like that, and at the time, I was broke. Must have been a dry spell with money glitches at that time. And so with that, the challenge was on. I think I only had like 2 days to earn enough money in game before it was removed. So I grinded the best way I knew how. Rooftop Rumble. Man, this mission was a grind. Just back to back repeating this job while trying to figure out the most efficient way to complete it each time, because as we all know, time is money. Good news though boys, we did it. After 2 long days of missing out on some essential sunlight, I was the new owner of this absolute rig. Sadly, however, I missed out on the bear hats, purely because every lobby I'd try and find one from those special crate drops, everyone in the lobby and their dog would be in the zone, killing each other for it, which just lagged the lobby to the point where even after like 30 minutes or an hour, the crate still wouldn't drop, it would just be glitched. And I'm still really salty about it to this day. Anyway, back to this beautiful machine. I had so much fun in this thing, driving it up the toughest terrain and just smashing into randoms in their peasant small cars. But come on Rockstar, why do I have to call Pegasus to call this in? Let me chuck this in the garage, man. Let me put some stupid mods on this. I'm hoping GTA 6 can improve from GTA 5's mistakes. DNS Lobbies, who remembers when these were a thing in GTA Online? You could change your DNS settings on your network settings and join into certain online lobbies that were just modded the hell out of. $9 million bounties everywhere, modded objects like UFOs and free roam. This was a wild time to play GTA Online. Sadly, I also missed out on this as I was on holiday and didn't have my console with me. Although one thing I was around for was the GTA 5 save editor. This little computer tool that you could install would let you modify your GTA 5's game save. So basically, you put your game save on a USB and then chuck it onto your computer, load up the save editor, and you could add anything you wanted to your game save. One core memory of this for me was you could add the boost power up that you'd normally get in those GTA races. You could put it on a car of your choice in story mode and literally just hold down the horn and you'd just be boosting around infinitely. But here's where it got really good. There was a glitch at that time to bring cars from story mode to online and store them in your garage. You can see where this is going. I literally got myself a modded car with unlimited boost on GTA Online, and I could take this to the races against anyone and absolutely mog them. Rockstar was definitely fast to patch this one, that's for sure. At this point, we're getting quite close to the updated GTA 5 release on the Xbox One and PS4, which brought some massive changes to the game. But before we get to that, there's some other cool memories to unlock. Stunts were a big part of the GTA YouTube scene. I would always watch Quibblecop's Hit a Stunt series. He'd spend like hours upon hours trying to land some incredible stunts that seemed impossible. And then he'd play the no copyright sounds montage music when he'd finally hit it. Man, that went hard. The last Team Standing update on the 2nd of October allowed for many of the viral jobs I mentioned earlier to exist. This includes snipers vs stunters, RPGs vs insurgents, obstacle courses like those parkour challenges, as well as those like death run obstacle courses. They were good fun. Even to this day, there are always new jobs being created with the Last Team Standing game mode. It's honestly just incredible seeing the level of creativity the GTA community has with making jobs like this. Rockstar definitely owes a good chunk of GTA Online's success to the job creators and YouTube creators that have made these game modes. On top of this, one of the vehicles that came with this DLC was the Hakuchou. Now I could be saying that wrong, but who cares. Anyway, this bike wasn't just any ordinary bike. There was a glitch with it that would let you glide along the ground. I remember when I first cracked this at the airport, I'd keep ramping off those little side ramp things. This was quite fun. Well, at this point we're on to the old gen release. On the 18th of November 2014, the updated version of GTA 5 was released to the old gen consoles, Xbox One and PS4 of course. With this, we saw some pretty stunning enhancements to the game. The visuals saw a massive upgrade in the world of GTA 5. Not only were the visuals a lot better, but there were some massive improvements to the performance of the game as well, especially online. The new player limit for online sessions was now 30 players, up from 16 on old gen, and the game just ran a lot better. It also delivered some exclusive bonuses for returning players, although sadly it meant temporarily saying goodbye to a few friends who didn't quite make it yet to GTA 5 on the Xbox One. So yeah, they were stuck on the 360 for a little while. They eventually bought the new consoles, it just took them a little while. 2014 ended off with a festive surprise update on the 18th of December. This was a pretty significant upgrade from the previous year's holiday gifts update. Why? Well, we could throw snowballs. I know, very cool. Now, we also got some other cool stuff as well, like special crate drops, Christmas gifts, and a few other stuff. The game definitely ran a lot better with snow on its newer hardware of the Xbox One and PS4. But honestly, it was just cool driving around with my mates and doing fat skids in the snow, killing each other with these lethal snowballs. The festive surprise has become an annual update since this time, and it has always provided some cool memories as the years rolled on. Playing online races with my mates in the snow was a core memory as well at this time. Here we go, 2015. This was a big year for GTA Online. On my birthday, the 10th of March in 2015, I received the best gift I could have asked for, the long-awaited online Heists update. After being delayed for so long, we had finally received the most anticipated update in GTA Online history. I think it's fair to say this is where we made some of the best and the worst memories in GTA Online. Let's take it from the start. The Fleeca Job. Pretty cool heist that you only need one other mate for, although the setups are kinda tedious looking back on them, but hey, back then we didn't know what we didn't know. Now I'm like, why do I have to steal a Kuruma that I literally own? Like, I'm literally driving to the Kuruma we gotta steal in my own faster, fully upgraded Kuruma. Over time, methods of efficiency were starting to emerge about shortcuts and little hacks you could do that could help you with the heists. Like simply holding an RPG in the Fleeca Bank was enough to maintain a full intimidation bar. To be fair, if I was in the NPC's shoes seeing this, I think I'd be fully intimidated as well. Next up, we've got the prison break heist. Honestly, this one caused the most headache out of them all, purely with how glitchy it was initially. The glitchiest part was just trying to lose the cops in the Velum. Every single time we'd attempt this heist, we'd finally make it to the plane, take off and then just have a frozen wanted star level that would not go away. Like it was hard enough actually doing the whole heist and surviving the whole prison, getting to the plane without a chopper just crashing into you and blowing you up or something. And then you finally take off and you can't even lose the cops. We're just cruising in the sky for 10 to 15 minutes on literally the last part of the whole heist, but we just could not lose the cops. And bear in mind, this is only the second heist in. Moving on to the Humane Labs, this was up next. Holy hecker, this was one that would either make or break your friendships. There's one setup mission in particular that was the real test of your patience. It was the stealth mission, sneaking into the Humane Labs with the EMP. Now, if you had a good crew and you knew what you were doing, this was actually a pretty fun setup mission, and pretty straightforward. And it does sound easy enough in theory, right? Kill the guards or workers in the right order at the same time as your partner, and you'd be sweet. Yeah, well back then we didn't know the right order to do things, and someone would always mess up following simple instructions.
What the hell?
Fucking kidding me. God damn it, I'm sorry guys. Fuck me.
I cannot even begin to articulate how many times we failed the setup. Like I was actually questioning my existence with this mission. To be fair, it wasn't always us messing up the mission. Because heists were quite new back then, there were plenty of glitches. I remember the insurgent you were meant to wait for to drive past, it would just freeze where it was. So we'd just kill the guard at the front so we could make it in, and of course, the insurgent would then wake up out of nowhere and drive out the gate, noticing the dead body. Like, how are we actually meant to make it through? On top of that, there was a glitch where if someone alerted the guards, say me for example, it would come up on the setup failed screen saying that one of your other heist crew alerted the guards.
That wasn't me either.
It was the glitch that really tested the strength of your friendships. Do you believe the game or your mate who was accused? Don't get me wrong though, most of these setup missions were actually really fun. Especially on your first few runs. Sneaking onto the military ship and stealing the Hydra, this was pretty badass. Fighting off the bad guys with Danger Zone playing on the radio, this was some alpha male shit. The heist itself was probably my favourite out of them all. Skydiving into the Humane Labs and shooting your way through the inside, and then swimming your way out through a secret tunnel, and then shooting flares obnoxiously to your aircrew when they were fully aware of your location. It never got old. Series A funding. The setup missions and the heist itself was alright I guess, but the most iconic memory for me was the cutscene at the end of the heist.
You can't be impotent rage, cause I'm impotent rage! I will deal with you later.
Trevor, ain't it?
So we're gonna do this, or we're gonna have a circle jerk, or both?
Whatever you want, man. Can I see?
Can I see the money?
Yeah, got it. Yeah. So, Trevor, there is the money. Hand me the cocaine first.
What?
The cocaine you are selling me.
Excuse me?
Are you selling me cocaine, Mr. Phillips?
Fucking narc!
You are under arrest for trespassing.
Get away! Fuck sakes!
Fuck you!
Man, Trevor is a one-of-a-kind type of guy. And finally, the mother of them all, the Pacific Standard heist. This heist plays a big part in the amount of money I have on GTA Online. Not legitimate money, obviously. Who do you think I am? Someone that plays by the rules? I just knew about the money glitches you could do for this. Honestly, there were so many good glitches on this heist, and they made you a lot of money. Before we get into that, we gotta talk about the setup missions. Locating these post-op vans was just a muck around, honestly. As useful as the armoured Kuruma was, if there was one mission that the Kuruma was not helpful for, it was this one. I think we'd just picked the Kuruma out of habit, honestly, and it was always a good choice for preventing deaths, especially if you were doing the Criminal Mastermind Challenge. Anyway, the problem with picking the Kuruma on this mission was that you needed to take photos of the van's license plates. And let's just say the Kuruma caused a few arguments with whoever was driving. Go forward more, no that's too much, go back. The line of sight was just non-existent with this car. What was meant to be probably the easiest setup of the Pacific Standard ended up being one of the hardest when using a Kuruma. However, it was worse if you had randoms to do this mission with, because chances are you're not going to be able to communicate with them properly, and if you can't, you can use the D-pad to navigate them, but still either they don't even know this is a thing or they just steer you wrong the whole time. This made it a headache. Convoy was a pretty cool setup mission. I'd always show off my sniping skills by sniping the pilot of the Savage as soon as it would spawn in. Just unloading bullets from the insurgent gun turret was always good fun as well. Although that military truck was too fragile, man. Don't shoot that army truck, we need that. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That was very unwise.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, you don't know that. You literally blew up a car right next to it. Okay, the truck's not looking too good. We'd fail the setup often just from that thing catching on fire, not even halfway out of the gunfight. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes now. The Pacific Standard heist back in the day was the best way to make money, even legitimately. But as I mentioned earlier, that ain't how I roll, because there was a glitch on the Pacific Standard heist where you could actually just replay the finale back to back. That's right, you did not need to play any of the setups, you could just replay the finale over and over. This was crazy. Now the way to do this glitch was just before the ending cutscene, when you'd escape on the boat. If you quit the game as host just as the boat was under the bridge, your crew would get the ending cutscene without you in it, so they'd obviously get paid, and the host would load back into free mode and the heist finale was ready to play again. As the game thinks, I didn't actually complete it. You might be wondering, but if you leave, how do you make money? Well, there was a solution for that. Myself and one other mate would take turns hosting the heist, so that way we'd still get paid every second run. So we'd just give more to the two hosts and the other two players would get a little bit less as they were getting paid each heist, rather than every second heist like the hosts were. I was running this back to back like crazy. Grinding the game, just not as Rockstar intended. Now there was one issue with this glitch. Because technically the host is leaving before the job is actually completed, if you did this enough times, it would actually get you into a bad sport lobby, because technically you're leaving a job before it's actually finished, which Rockstar don't really like. And it did warn me each time I loaded back into the game, but I thought, it's not like I'm continuously blowing up people's personal vehicles. Yeah, I guess it didn't really work that way, because I found myself in a bad sport lobby after enough times doing this glitch, which ended up stopping me actually doing the glitch as I was unable to join my heist crew. It was probably only for a day or two, so it wasn't like it stopped me completely going back to doing it. I just had to take it a bit easier, I guess. So yeah, this was the big glitch that got me a lot of money. But expanding on that, there were glitches to help keep all the money in the duffel bag as well when travelling to the dinghy. The best one was the glitch that would let you into your garage during the part where we were meant to jump on the getaway bikes. I literally bought this property just for this reason. Basically, what we do is have just one person carrying the money and they just stay in the bank so they wouldn't get shot, and then the remaining 3 of us go out, fight our way to the bike checkpoint. One of us would kill ourselves, so we'd all respawn at the bikes with that checkpoint. From there, we'd blow up the bike so that it would just say head to the canyon or head to the dinghy. And if I was quick enough from here, I could walk into my garage where none other than the armoured Kuruma was there, waiting for us to make our easy escape. This was literally the perfect routine. We'd all hop in the car, drive to the dinghy, then complete the heist with not a single dollar lost. Way too easy. Obviously these glitches got patched, but there was always another one that someone would find on YouTube, like getting a helicopter to spawn at the police station or something. Honestly, I gotta say, the people that find money glitches on this game actually deserve a medal. Some of the glitches in this game make absolutely no sense, and you wonder how people find this out. Boy oh boy, GTA 6 is gonna be interesting. I wonder how many glitches there will be. While this was a pretty crazy time in GTA Online, it does not compare to the PC launch of GTA 5 on the 15th of April 2015. And you know what that means? Mods. Oh yeah. I didn't really play GTA 5 on PC, but I sure watched my fair share of online modding on YouTube. It was so entertaining watching the stuff people could do with mods in GTA 5, removing the water from the map, or tsunami mods, plenty more. It doesn't compare to GTA 4 mods though. That was peak modding, I reckon. Who remembers watching the Carmageddon mod on the NerdCube channel?
In the world decided to breakdance. Hang on, there appears to be a car crash behind me. Oh my god!
Man, he did some awesome videos. On the 15th of December 2015, Rockstar released the Executives and Other Criminals DLC. This was where we saw the purchasable yachts being added to online free roam. Imagine this. You complete the criminal mastermind heist, you get your $10 million, and boom, in one purchase, it's all gone to a stupid yacht that definitely didn't get used to its worth. Piracy prevention was a pretty fun mission, especially if you had some mates helping you out. But it got boring pretty quick. It got to the point where no one would even come after your yacht. You'd just sit there for half an hour, twiddling your thumbs. And I'm pretty sure in this update you could actually register as a VIP. I'm pretty sure you needed like $1 million in your bank account. And then you could hire bodyguards, you could do a bunch of VIP work. It was actually pretty fun at the time. There were quite a few different jobs you could do. Let's fast forward to 2016. On Tuesday, the 7th of June 2016, the Further Adventures in Finance and Felony update came out. And I'm pretty sure this was when we were able to register as CEOs and we could actually do CEO work. It also brought in some pretty cool vehicles. One of my favorites, the Grotti X80 Proto. Man, this thing is an absolute stunner. Beautiful car. This is where you could really get to work on the grind and make some pretty good money, but it was a big grind, don't get me wrong. You could buy an office and then also a warehouse and stock up your warehouse, sourcing cargo, and then sell it and make a good amount of money. At the time, it was probably the best way to make money, but there have been much better ways to make money that have come after this update. And just 1 month later, this is when we got the Cunning Stunts update. One of the best updates to come to GTA Online in my opinion. This update came with 15 new vehicles. Not only that, but the races were so much fun. The community having the ability to now make stunt races with all of these extra additions to the content creator was epic. Some of my favourite memories came from playing stunt races with my friends. We'd have 10 of us at times doing these races, and man, it made for some good fun. If I was making the playlist, I'd always chuck in a motorbike race at least once. Maybe something like Afterburner, as I knew how to do the flying bike glitch, so I'd always have the advantage. If you guys want to win stunt races, make sure you learn how to do it. I love doing stunt races. I never got sick of it and would always jump on, especially over lockdown. Over lockdown, we were doing plenty of GTA races. We'd always be finding new stunt races to play. 2016 was actually a pretty good year for DLC in GTA Online. Following the Cunning Stunts DLC, we got the Bikers update. This was a pretty cool update, apart from the annoying biker business music that you had to listen to. To be fair, it's not that the music's actually bad, it's more the fact that you just get tired of listening to it. You know, if you're grinding out motorcycle club work, the music it just goes on and on and on. With the ability now to have up to 7 people join your organization, there were now more options for making money, such as the motorcycle club work, as well as through the 5 new business lockups you could own. In order from least profitable to profitable, you had the document forgery, counterfeit, weed, and then meth,
Jesse,
and then cocaine. There were also many more options to troll your mates, as you could drive up next to them and melee them from your bike. This also made for some pretty funny animations as well. Something that not many people know is, this update made it so you can turn the Cayo into the fastest bike in the game. I'm not kidding. Simply grab the fastest bike you own, maybe like the Oppressor or something, activate the formation thingy what's it, with the lads behind you riding Faggios, and fucking they'll go honing. Now that's an alpha motorcycle gang. As a continuation from the Bikers update, we also got the Deadline Adversary Mode, which released not long after. Man, I played the hell out of this game mode, and you only needed like 2 of you. You could play up to 4 people, and it was so competitive, which made it so fun. And to be fair, a lot of the other adversary modes were also really fun as well. The boys and I were always playing those adversary modes like Hunting Pack, Slasher, and despite milking the hell out of these jobs, it took a while for it to actually get stale. Now the last update we saw for 2016 was the Import-Export DLC in December. Holy hecker, this one added a lot of new vehicles. 22 to be exact, but the best vehicle of them all was the ramp buggy. If you disagree, you're wrong. Now this vehicle was purely made just to troll people. Even to this day, it's always a laugh in those transform races where you can take out the whole lobby in one run. Nothing more satisfying than launching your mate 50 stories into the air and watching him go from first place to last. I also have to give thanks to this DLC for adding the Elegy Retro Custom, aka the money glitch machine. Back then, if you had it fully upgraded, it sold for the most amount of money out of any vehicle. I just remember having a full garage of the same exact gold-plated Elegies. The only problem with this was, when doing races, if I wanted something other than the Allergy Retro Custom, I'd have to try and cycle through the 40 cars I had before getting to the other ones. Now you might be thinking, well, why didn't you just sell your Allergy cars, and then you could actually pick what you want in your races? Yeah, well, it turns out Rockstar caught on to the money glitches that we were all doing, and they made it that we could only sell one car per day. So it took a long time to finally sell off all my allergies, but we got there in the end. 2017, where it all started going downhill. Now, it wasn't all bad, but this was the year where we were starting to see the new direction that Rockstar were taking with the whole futuristic crap. Now, at this point in time, most people would agree that this marked the end of the golden era of GTA 5 Online. This can be seen with the gun running DLC. We now had the Oppressor Mk2, which in my opinion wasn't too futuristic, but it was getting up there. It was a sign of things to come, I guess. I think it's actually pretty cool and super fun to hoon around in. It's actually like one of my favourite bikes. I don't think it's super overpowered though, because it still takes some skill to use and actually fight in. Unlike our good friend over here. It wasn't until we saw the Doomsday Heist update when in my eyes Rockstar started taking it too far. I mean, come on. The Deluxo, Avenger, this thing's basically like having a mothership in a GTA Online lobby. And the jetpack, it's too much. I think the jetpack should have been as far as it went. But now with these other vehicles added, it wasn't even worth using the jetpack. It just isn't as powerful as these other vehicles. Actually, I don't even know what I'm talking about. The worst part about this update was not the vehicles. It was the orbital cannon. I genuinely can't think of one reason why this needed to come to GTA Online. Okay, what about the actual heists? What were they like? While I wasn't really a fan of the futuristic setting and theme of these heists, they were actually quite fun because they were a lot more challenging than the OG heists, which actually made it a lot more rewarding when you completed each one. Not needing 4 people to do these heists was a good addition from Rockstar, but one thing that still annoys me about the Doomsday Heist is that the Criminal Mastermind Challenge is broken. Last year, a few of my friends and I, we attempted the Criminal Mastermind Challenge, and after getting through a few of the missions, for some reason, our progress just disappeared. We hadn't done anything wrong. We even started again to try and fix it, but it just ended up glitching again. And after doing a bit of research, it turns out there is in fact a bug with this challenge. So yeah, that made it a little bit annoying. You see, Rockstar will happily fix money glitches ASAP, but they won't patch a glitch that has been in the game since 2017 and actually has a pretty significant impact on the player's experience. That's wild. If you thought this was bad though, this is nothing compared to what happened in 2018. On the 14th of August in 2018, the Oppressor Mk2 was added to GTA Online.
What the fuck is that?
This vehicle was added as part of the drip feed release content within the After Hours DLC, which came out in the previous month. In my opinion, this is the worst vehicle that's been added to GTA Online. GTA Online was now a world where just driving around in your sports car or supercar had lost its value. You could now just fly across the map with a sweat machine and easily blow up anyone you wanted. The appreciation for a leisurely drive across the map had dissipated, or a simple flight through the skyline of Los Santos while listening to Radio Mirror Park, just for relaxing stuff. But no, now we gotta check over our shoulder when doing stuff like this.
Oppressor Mk2 griefers have small pee-pee. Stop using the Oppressor Mk2.
This new era of GTA Online turned everyone into toxic players. In GTA Online's first few years of its life, it was much easier to make friends with random people. You just pull up next to them, honk your horn, and they were now your accomplice for robbing convenience stores. But now, if you were to do that, more often than not, you'd probably get blown up just with the way everyone is now with killing randoms in the game. Now I think the futuristic vehicles aren't completely to blame for this new community of players. Rockstar have definitely incentivized the toxic player style by rewarding griefing other players, but the vehicles just complement this style of playing as it makes it too easy to kill people. If you did play GTA Online in its first few years, you'll definitely know how chill and laid back it used to be. Back then, if you saw someone in a tank on the beach, you'd absolutely be shitting your pants. Run.
Please help me.
Boom. Now that's the least of your worries. And I should think most of you would agree, those times were the peak of GTA Online. Now don't get me wrong, of course I've still had so much fun playing this game in its later half of playing online, but it's just gone too far in this toxic futuristic setting for free mode to be that enjoyable. I still find myself going back to races and online player created jobs with my friends, and that's always good fun. That being said, it hasn't been all bad with the later updates. Even though we were getting less and less updates as time went on, some of them were still good, like the Diamond Casino heist. It was great to finally have more heists to do with my mates, and they weren't so futuristic. The same can be said about the Cayo Perico heist that came out a year later. This introduced the Kasatka submarine, which was pretty crazy with how big it is. In my eyes, this was a great heist. Some of the setups are a little bit tedious depending on RNG, but even so, you get to do things how you want. You can pick what kind of loot you want to scope out for the heist, and it feels a lot more like we've orchestrated this ourselves. It was nice to have an expansion to the map as well finally. Los Santos at this point just felt too bland. Although it would have been nice to be able to go to Cayo Perico Island in free mode. But I think what would have really been cool is going to North Yankton and online. There was a glitch for this back in the day. I still remember that, that was so fun. Now even though 2019 and 2020 only had like 2 updates in each year for GTA, at least they were decent because in 2021, yet again we saw 2 updates. Now these updates were okay, but what ruined it for me was these 2 Muppets. These 2 dropkicks honestly need to get a life.
What up, though?
Showtime, babe.
Oh, your timing couldn't be better. Just got my ass in the hot tub.
When did I ask?
Without me?
You don't need no invite, baby. You got an all-year pass.
Stop calling me and stop telling me about your sex life. I don't care. To end 2021, Franklin finally got his time in the online spotlight, the contract update. Honestly, this update was okay. I didn't really care too much about the Dr. Dre stuff. For me, the real meat and potatoes of this update was after these missions, where you could now play the Franklin and Lamar missions. And unlike these 2, Franklin and Lamar always provide some good quality banter.
I got a real big play with a genuine celebrity. You know, the type of motherfucker you like to be around these days since you all high-powered and bougie and like to feel special and important and shit and don't really give a fuck about your day ones who's running plays and taking fades and shooting at niggas and caring about you in these streets, caring about your emotional health and shit. You all crying, I'm holding your hair so you don't puke all over your auntie rug and shit. That was me, but you don't give a fuck about that kind of shit these days.
Man, fuck you.
Yes, the 15th of March 2022. Quote unquote expanded and enhanced. Yeah, I don't know about that, and neither did Rockstar, which is why they no longer call it that. This version of GTA 5 was now for some people the 3rd or 4th time buying this game. Potentially even more if they bought it on different platforms. I can't really trash on this version of the game that much. I literally bought it straight away. And I will admit, it was nice being able to play this game with a smoother frame rate and better visuals. But what I was really hoping for was crossplay. I'm not saying the full-blown crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox. That would be awesome, but I didn't want to ask for too much here. Instead, I just wanted crossplay between the Xbox One version of GTA 5 and the Xbox Series version of the game. But no, how silly of me to expect crossplay in an era of gaming where most games now offer crossplay. And just like last time, most of my friends did have the newer consoles, but there were still some that didn't, and it just sucked because they kind of got left out. And it was a bit of an awkward time where we couldn't really play together, and eventually they did come around and get the latest console, but still, we shouldn't be separated by that. Which I think is partly why Rockstar didn't make it crossplay. Any chance they can get more sales? They'll do it.
Yeah, boy.
And from a business standpoint, you can't blame them. All I'm hoping for is that GTA 6 will surely have crossplay. Imagine releasing a game in 2026 and it doesn't have crossplay. I think that should be illegal. Apart from the minor visual and performance upgrades to the game, there wasn't really much else that was new, except for the HSW update, which was exclusive to the newer console versions of the game. The HSW update was actually pretty cool, I'll admit. Instead of being stuck on the same default top speeds for current GTA vehicles, you could now increase the top speed and acceleration of select cars, more so the newer ones, but as time went on, not only were the newer cars eligible for these upgrades, but some of the more older cars like the Devastate were also available for this upgrade as well. And it definitely made races a bit more competitive. However, I must point out, the HSW update missed out on its potential. Remember how I was talking about those first supercars in GTA Online, like the Zentorno, the Turismo, etc.? What Rockstar should have done is made those cars eligible for an HSW upgrade. Imagine all these OG cars and they actually stood a chance in races. Imagine how cool that would have been. It would give us players and OG players more incentive to drive those old supercars we haven't driven in years. But hey, what would I know? Finally, life almost 12 years on. At this point, the memories we have of GTA 5, they're special. They can't be recreated. And as sad as it is to say, it's just how it is. Lately, I've been finding myself just going back to those old channels that I used to watch playing GTA 5. The nostalgia hit, rewatching some of these classics are just incredible. And crazy enough, some of these guys are still uploading to this day.
What's up, mother truckers?
In fact, I've been seeing Louis Caliber uploading GTA 5 videos recently, live streams, and just going through the comments, man, it really makes you feel a type of way. Everyone has been putting in their little testimonies of how much of an impact these guys have had on our childhoods and growing up. And it almost brings a tear to my eye, just reading people's stories and seeing where they were back then to where they are now, what they've accomplished in life, and just the extreme amount of gratitude that we've got towards these guys that have just got us through some of the darkest times of our lives. It really makes you feel that sense of community, you know? We're all in the same boat. We all love to play games, whether it be to escape from reality or just to unwind after a big day. We love to make new friends online and just create awesome memories. I think that's what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. Good times with good mates. Nothing beats those days where the game was just simple and alive. And of course, it's not like we can't play this game anymore. Of course we can, but it's just not the same anymore. The DLCs, we hardly get them, and when we do get them, they're pretty mid. And it's so much harder to try get all the boys online to play. Whereas back then it was every day after school, you wouldn't even have to ask them, straight onto the game. It's like how we're always living in the good times, but we don't yet know it. Anyway, it feels like we haven't really had any good games for a while now. But then again, a lot of that might just be down to the fact that we aren't 12 years old anymore. For a lot of us, we weren't even yet teenagers when this game came out. We had nothing but time, and the only stress in our life was coming to school knowing we hadn't done our homework and hoping that the teacher forgets about checking it. Back then we could play GTA 5 from the moment we got home from school up until we went to bed at a ridiculous hour. I remember being so tired from staying up late playing games all night that at school I'd just be sleeping during silent reading. And somehow those were the good times, right? See what I'm saying? We're always in the good times. Now we're adults. We need our full 8 hours of sleep or we can't function properly through the day. We have jobs, we have responsibilities. So many of our friends have gone their own way in life and have partners, kids even. Sometimes I wish we could just go back in time to when everyone was online and we didn't care about anything. Life just seemed so peaceful and we weren't in a rush all the time. But hey, it's easy not to be grateful and not appreciate how good life is now. If I want to buy myself an R18 game, I can do it and not even get asked for ID. I'm a big boy now. Better yet, I have a debit card and can purchase the game with my own money from the comfort of my room on my console. However, the sad part about this is, with online or digital game sales now taking up a bigger piece of the pie compared to physical sales, the nostalgic midnight releases and pre-order lines have died off over the recent years. This is a period of gaming that I think was just so special. Anyway, back to the positives, right? We get paid to work now instead of paying to learn stuff we don't care about in school. And even better, when GTA 6 comes out, we won't have to pull a sickie to skip school. Actually, nah, we have jobs now, so we still gotta pull a sickie. Or you put in a request for leave, but there's always someone that gets stitched up and they have to work anyway. So at that point, I think yeah, just call in sick. Honestly though, I am excited for GTA 6. While this time our lives won't be as laid back when we're playing this, and we may not be able to commit as many hours as we did on GTA 5, I'm excited to make some new memories with new friends and overall just enjoy the experience. As much as we like to talk negatively about Rockstar, they have provided us with some memories I will cherish forever. So thank you, Rockstar. It may sound sad to be saying that about a video game. Like bro, go outside, make some real memories. I don't care. This was a big part of my childhood, and I know it was for a lot of you too. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed walking down memory lane with me. This video has taken me longer than I'd like to admit to make, But honestly, every minute of it was worth it for the memories I got to relive. So thank you so much for watching this video, especially all the way through. You guys are legends. But for now, there's more nostalgia to go over. So until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.